There are mornings when the weight of being alive feels unbearable, when you open your eyes and wonder if the day has already defeated you before it has even begun. The world looks flat, its colors drained, its rhythms mechanical and uninviting. You feel as if something essential has slipped from your grasp, and you do not know how to call it back. In those hours, a thought may cross the edge of your awareness, one that you might be afraid to speak aloud. Does this depression? We are so quick to name it depression, to say something is broken in me. But what if the darkness that surrounds you is not a mistake, but a question? Not the end, but the first faint whisper of a beginning? Depression and awakening can wear the same disguise. Both can arrive as emptiness, as the stripping away of meaning, as nights filled with questions that spiral without answers. Both can leave you staring at the ceiling, asking what the point of it all is. To the ordinary mind, they are nearly indistinguishable. But beneath the surface, there is a difference so profound it can change the way you see everything you are living through. Depression insists that nothing matters, that you are hopeless, broken, unworthy of light. Awakening whispers that what used to matter no longer defines you, that the identity you clung to cannot contain the vastness of what you truly are. When life unravels, it does not feel like liberation, it feels like loss. The career that once gave you direction suddenly rings hollow. The relationships that seemed to anchor you feel strained or shallow. The goals that once inspired you reveal themselves as fragile scaffolding. You are left standing in the ruins of a self you thought was permanent, and you tremble at the emptiness where meaning used to be. Depression calls this emptiness failure. Awakening calls it space. Depression calls it collapse. Awakening calls it the undoing of illusions. But when you are inside of it, when the nights are long and the silence is heavy, the labels blur. You only know that you are no longer who you were and not yet who you are becoming. This is why awakening so often hides inside despair, because the false self, the identity carefully built out of roles, achievements, fears, and defenses cannot dissolve without a sense of death. You believed the mask was you. You believed the role was your essence, and now, as it slips, you feel as though you are slipping with it. The grief is real, the fear is real, and yet, beneath it, there is a strange quiet, a stillness that depression never carries. Even in the tears, even in the hollow nights, there may be moments brief, flickering, but undeniable, where you feel a spaciousness you cannot explain. A moment of rest in the midst of sorrow, a breath that feels lighter than the one before. A second of peace that comes from nowhere. These are the fingerprints of awakening, the tiny glimmers that reveal you are being carried, even as everything seems to fall apart. The mind does not easily accept this. It demands answers. It insists on control. It attacks you with judgments. You should be stronger. You should be better. You are weak. You are nothing. This is the voice of despair, the voice of self-condemnation. But awakening teaches you to step back from this voice and recognize it is not you. It is only the echo of a system of thought that is dissolving. It is only the shadow resisting the light. Depression fuses you with this voice until you cannot see beyond it. Awakening introduces the witness, the quiet awareness that can notice the voice without being consumed by it. To touch this witness, even faintly, is to realize that you are more than your despair, more than your thoughts, more than the story you tell about yourself. Still, the path through this threshold is not about fighting, fixing, or forcing. Awakening is not achieved through effort, it is allowed through surrender. The tide that pulls you into emptiness is not asking you to swim harder, it is asking you to let go. Not in defeat, but in humility, to whisper inwardly, I do not know what this means. I do not know what I am. Show me another way to see this. That willingness, however small, is enough, for it opens a crack in the armor of the ego, and through that crack, light begins to pour. In practice, this surrender is gentle. It looks like allowing yourself to weep without adding the judgment that you should not. It looks like choosing kindness toward yourself in small ways, a warm drink cradled slowly, a walk beneath the sky, the decision to rest without apology. It looks like receiving help when it is offered, whether through a friend who listens without trying to fix, or a guide who reminds you of your strength, or a circle of souls who hold the truth for you when you cannot hold it for yourself. It looks like forgiving yourself, not for doing something wrong, but for believing for so long that you were only this small self, fragile and unworthy. Forgiveness here is release, release of the attack thoughts, release of the demand to perform, release of the illusion that you must earn your right to exist. And slowly, in the midst of this gentleness, you begin to notice something. You notice the glimmers. You laugh unexpectedly at something small. You feel gratitude for no reason at all. You catch a breath that lands fully in your chest and feels like relief. These are not accidents. They are signs of the self breaking through, signs that the dawn is already stirring beyond the horizon. The mind may rush to dismiss them. It means nothing. It will not last, but that dismissal is fear, not truth. Hold on to the glimmers. They are seeds of remembrance. As you allow yourself to walk this path, you begin to see that what felt like falling apart was never your true self collapsing. It was only the shadow, the mask, the false identity losing its grip. The self beneath, the vast, unchanging awareness, the light that cannot be dimmed remains untouched. Depression tells you that you are broken beyond repair. Awakening reveals that you were never broken to begin with. Depression tells you there is no way out. Awakening shows you that the prison was made of illusions, and illusions cannot confine what is real. This does not mean the nights will instantly end. Awakening is not a straight line, but a spiral, and there may be many layers of undoing. But each time you remember that the storm is not the sky, each time you step back from the voice of self-attack and rest in the witness, you strengthen your trust in what remains, and what remains is love. Not the fragile love that comes and goes, not the conditional love of the world, but the love that is the fabric of your being. The love that holds you when you cannot hold yourself. The love that asks nothing and gives everything. So when you feel the heaviness, ask yourself, is there even the smallest glimmer, a breath of spaciousness, a moment when you can witness without judgment? If yes, this is awakening. If not, this is your mind calling for care, for support, for attention. Both are valid, but one leads you to the self you always were, the other calls you to healing. So if you are here now, if you are standing in that valley where life feels stripped bare, let me say this, you are not failing. You are not being punished. You are not broken. You are being undone so that you may be revealed. The darkness is not proof of your absence from the path, it is part of the path. It is the threshold every soul must walk through to awaken to what cannot die. And when the dawn comes, and it will, you will see that the emptiness was not the end of meaning, but the clearing away of false meaning. You will see that the grief was not the loss of yourself, but the loosening of all that was never truly you. You will see that depression was not the final word, for despair cannot undo what is eternal. The dawn will come, and you will recognize yourself at last, not as the fragile self you mourned, but as the boundless self that has never left. And until that dawn arrives in fullness, hold to this truth. The very fact that you are asking these questions is a sign that awakening is already stirring, for despair alone does not ask. Despair collapses, but awakening seeks. Awakening whispers that there must be more, and your willingness to listen is proof that you are already walking the way. So breathe, rest, allow. Do not measure your progress by how bright you feel, but by your willingness to see differently. For even the faintest willingness opens the door to light, and light does not fail. If these words met you where you are, let them stay with you. Let them remind you that the valley is not forever, that the dawn is certain, that the love in you has never left. And if you feel moved, share your journey in the comments below. Speak your truth, however messy or unfinished it may seem, because your story may be the thread of hope someone else needs tonight. And if this resonated, please give this video a like, subscribe for more reflections, and share it with someone who may be standing in their own valley. Because sometimes the most healing words we can hear are simply these: you are not alone. And this too is part of awakening.